Before this story continues, pause for a moment and subscribe. Not because this is entertainment, but because these are the stories people usually keep buried. Here, we talk about the silent cracks inside relationships. The choices made in quiet moments. The turning points that change everything. If you've ever felt unseen in your own life, this story is for you. When my husband finally told me what he wanted, my first response was a laugh. Not because it was funny. Because my brain refused to accept what I had just heard. It was a soft, uncomfortable laugh, the kind that slips out when your heart hasn't yet processed the shock. For a second, I honestly thought he must be joking. Some awkward attempt at humor. He wasn't. We were sitting at our kitchen table. The house was calm in that late-night way. The kids were asleep upstairs, their doors slightly open, light spilling into the hallway. The dishwasher hummed quietly, filling the space with a steady mechanical sound. I had just poured him a glass of wine. Later, that moment felt symbolic. A simple act of care. Something intimate and ordinary at once. I placed the glass in front of him and watched the red liquid settle. His hands wrapped around it like he had been waiting. Then he looked straight at me. Not casually. Not distracted. Directly. And when he spoke, my stomach twisted. What he asked for wasn't just unexpected. It crossed a line I didn't even realize existed. Something so personal, so disturbing, that my body reacted before my mind could. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't walk away. I stayed. That's what haunts me most. I smiled instead. Smiling felt easier than falling apart right there at the table. Then he said, quietly, "No. I'm serious." And something inside me shifted. Have you ever felt silence become unbearable? When the quiet presses against your chest until it feels suffocating? How does someone you once shared everything with, your bed, your fears, your dreams, suddenly feel like a stranger? He explained a desire he'd been holding on to. And it wasn't just about us. It involved someone else. Someone close. My sister. Even saying it now tightens my throat. That night ended with my sister crying in my bathroom. And my husband, the man who once promised to protect my heart, walked away from the damage like nothing extraordinary had happened. Before I tell you everything, because I will understand this. This story isn't meant to shock. It's meant to explain. 14 years. That's how long I've been married to Michael. 14 years of routines. 2 children. A neat lawn. Soccer games. PTA meetings. Quiet dinners where we sit across from each other scrolling on our phones. From the outside, our life looks perfect. But photos don't show emotional distance. They don't capture how 2 people can share a bed and still feel miles apart. They don't show me lying awake, staring at his back, wondering when he stopped reaching for me. I used to feel alive. I laughed loudly. Danced barefoot in the kitchen. Wore red lipstick just because it made me feel bold. I don't know exactly when that version of me disappeared. It happened slowly. Like sunset, you don't notice until it's already dark. At 42, I was still loyal. Still doing everything a good wife does. Cooking. Cleaning. Managing schedules. Holding everything together while my husband quietly texted someone else under the table. Michael is successful. Runs a tech company. Drives a sleek car. Smells like expensive cologne. To everyone else, he's charming. To me, he felt empty. He remembered birthdays but forgot to ask how I was. He bought expensive gifts but avoided eye contact. Eventually, I stopped asking for more. Not because I didn't want it. Because rejection hurts less when you stop reaching. Then there was my sister, Jessica. 7 years younger. Naturally warm. The kind of person who fills a room without trying. She came to stay with us after her relationship ended suddenly. She was heartbroken. So I opened my home. Our house looked warm. Soft lighting. Family photos. Vanilla candles. Smiling faces frozen in frames. But it felt hollow. That's when I started noticing things. The way Michael watched Jessica laugh. How he helped her with small things he ignored when I asked. How his eyes lingered too long. At first, I told myself I was imagining it. But instinct whispers truths we don't want to hear. I ignored it. Jessica settled in easily. She laughed with the kids, cooked breakfast with music playing, brought softness back into the house. Michael changed. He became attentive. Animated. Alive. I watched my husband look at my sister the way he once looked at me. There's a quiet grief in realizing you're no longer the emotional center of your own marriage. It doesn't scream. It settles into your chest. I moved through life on autopilot. School runs. Laundry. Grocery lists. Forced smiles. At night, I lay beside him, feeling the distance like something physical. Then the flowers came. My favorite. It had been 2 years since he'd brought me any. After that came affectionate texts. Then gifts. Then dinners. It felt less like love and more like preparation. He talked about growth. About evolution. About how couples fall into routines. Then one night, casually, he suggested a weekend away. Just us. Then he hesitated. Maybe Jessica too. I said yes. I don't know why. The beach house was beautiful. Too open. Wine flowed. Music played. Jessica danced barefoot at sunset. Michael watched her openly. That's when I knew. Later, sitting beside me on the couch, he spoke about connection. Trust. Healing. And somewhere inside me, a voice screamed. But I nodded. Just once. And that single nod changed everything.